Right back.
You should have it. You should set it so it makes kazoo noises.
You mean?
You got it.
Oh, that echoed fairly loud. It might be coming from me.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back. I had 2 phone calls today. 2 separate phone calls from 2 separate people saying how much they love whatever it is that you were using in today's episode that aired.
The kazoo.
Is it actually a kazoo?
So you know those like party streamers that have like the plastic, I guess it's considered a kazoo. It's not like one of the ones that have the tail on it that you go with. But it's just like one of those cheap party streamer blowy devices. But it's from a groan tube which goes meow, meow. And when you blow in it, it goes.
I've learned so much today. Okay. Wes, fact check me here. We haven't had anyone from the Pacific Northwest yet, have we? Because I'm not counting Lenny.
Oh yeah, under those conditions, then that is correct.
like born and raised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, do you want me to talk with like a surfer accent? Like, what's up, dude? I could do that.
Is that
Make
a
it
thing?
really authentic. Not really. Maybe in California. I don't know. Never been.
Never been to California?
No, I've never been. No. Nope. It was just so strange because it's so close, but no, I've never been. I think like to drive through Oregon from like where I am right now would be like maybe 6 hours. So I don't know.
See what messes with me. So I have a friend in Oregon, and we have a city here in the Toledo area called Oregon, and it's spelled the exact same way, but it's pronounced, Ohio-ish. And so half the time when I'm bringing up the state, I have to make sure that I'm saying like Oregon, or half the time I just say screw it. I just say Oregon, like Oregon.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
No, that's right. Oregon.
Oregon.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I now an official, PNWer?
Yeah. You said
Okay.
it. That's perfect. No one will ever know.
I also don't know how original I am for coining the phrase PNWer, but it feels good. Okay, I think I've wasted enough of everyone's time now.
God damn it, Kevin.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're tuning in from across the country and around the world. This is the Life Midwest Podcast, Season 2.
With an exclamation point.
With an exclamation point. I'm your host, Kevin Palmer, and that's Wes Shirley over there.
Howdy.
I just, okay, I don't want to completely derail the show here, but every time I introduce you, I don't know what I'm going to get.
Me neither, to be fair. It's like there's this bin of things, and then there's like this tiny human inside my brain with a slingshot, and it just picks random heaps from that bin of things and then throws them out my mouth.
Well, thank God that I'm not the only one on this wild ride today of not knowing what the hell you're going to do in front of your microphone. We have special guests. You know what? Fuck, I didn't actually ask if I could. Do you have an alias that you prefer to go by? Special guest? Okay.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I do not.
We have the wonderful Brittaney Wells with us today. If we could get some applause, Wes. You like giving the golf claps. Welcome, Brittaney. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Good. Thank you so much for coming on to this Nobody podcast. I really appreciate it.
It's the only podcast I've ever been invited on, so you're special to me.
If you're new to this series, folks, this is going to be a My Friends episode series. My Friends episode series. My Friend series. You know what? Let's stick with that. Where we have somebody on who kind of talks about their upbringing, the ramifications of their life, maybe a mix of, things that piss them off. We'll talk about it. Maybe solve a couple problems on the way. this ain't the magic school bus or anything. We're not here to figure shit out. We're just here to talk about it. Okay. Brittaney, the first thing we usually talk about is, well, for those who don't know, actually, let me start here. Brittaney is actually the wife of Lenny Wells, who's been on the show before. Very good friend of the show. So for those who don't know or maybe recognize the last name, that's kind of the connection there. So we've had Lenny on the show previously. Brittaney, what made you want to come on?
You asked me to. And I'm just so nice. I said yes.
To be fair, I did get an email from Lenny who asked who said that you had asked when you get to be on the show.
Oh, you did.
I did. Actually, let me pull it up and read it because I love incriminating Lenny. It's like one of my favorite things to do.
Especially because he's not here. He can't defend himself.
Yeah. He's in Alaska right now. What's he up to anyway? Something for work?
Yeah, he's working up there. They called him like Friday night and was like, "Oh hey," or Thursday night, and they're like, "Oh hey, you have to go to Alaska on Friday." So we were like, "That's cool," and he's gonna be gone for 2 weeks. So that's great. He left me here with all these gosh darn kids.
Ugh. You know, this is exactly why we say call your mom though, because moms are superheroes. Not that you should be like surmounted with that kind of task, but like, I have faith in you.
Thanks. Well, I haven't. They're all still alive, so I'm doing good so far.
You're setting the bar high there. So the email that I have from Lenny here was in reference to, actually, Wes, I don't think we ended up reading this email because it came right before we did our season finale, and we didn't read emails on our season finale last year. But we were talking about the phrase "tits up" and why that, like, where did that come from? Like when something dies or something goes tits up. And so Lenny sent this email and said, found this when Googling the phrase "tits up" and thought y'all would want to know. And he sent this link to this lovely article, which I will put in the podcast description, from the English Stack Exchange. This is english.stackexchange.com. What is the origin of the phrase "tits up"? Let's see here. Oh, tits up was in common usage in the British armed forces post-World War II. It may have originated earlier, but the common consensus was that it was originated in the Royal Navy. Its use meant complete failure and was... I can't even read that word. You know what? You guys get the point. It doesn't matter. The point is that he then went on to say also Dogecoin to the moon with like 15 O's. And then said, lastly, Brittaney wants to know when you're going to have her on the show to complain. LMAO.
Oh, I said that. Oh my God, there's a cat all over this desk. Go away. I said that as a joke, and he was like, "Oh, ask him." I remember that. Okay, that was me being obnoxious.
This is going to be your special time to complain then. Anything that you want to complain or leave in or leave out. You can even talk about shit and be like, think about it later and be like, hey, Kev, can you not leave that in there? You know, the floor is yours. So normally what we start off with is kind of like the first memory. I don't want to give a recap of everyone's because we've had several people on at this point. But kind of like the first thing that they remember happening to them, like as a child or toddler, maybe even infant. Do you have a thought that comes to mind?
I think yeah. So I remember being, I couldn't have been very old. I can't remember how old I was. I was small, but I was outside by myself, so I wasn't like super small. But I was in the backyard and I was swinging, and one of my brothers was in the kitchen, and he locked me out of the house. And he took a Barney like stuffed animal that I had and a knife, and he was like stabbing, like pretending to stab it, and I couldn't get back inside the house, and I remember just freaking out. And that's probably my earliest memory.
That is a traumatizing first memory.
Yeah.
Poor dinosaur.
Poor dinosaur. What about the kid that just witnessed that guy getting locked out of the house?
Yeah.
Well, I think that part's implied, but that poor dinosaur, it was helpless.
Yeah. So I technically have one brother, but when I was about 2 or 3 years old, my aunt and uncle died, and my cousins moved in with us, and so I grew up with 3 brothers. 2 of them were my cousins, and then like an older sister who was also a cousin. So
Okay, so it was the blood brother that murdered your Barney.
no, it was a cousin, my cousin brother. That's how white trash we are out here.
Out there in the Pacific Northwest. Again, this is our first guest from the Pacific Northwest, born and raised. Lenny doesn't count because he grew up in the Midwest here, and had to put up with me in high school and all that. So
he won't even buy a flannel, so he doesn't fit in out here yet.
He won't buy a flannel?
No, and I don't understand why. But
Wes, I think we know what we need to do for his birthday.
I agree.
Just a box of fucking flannels.
Yes.
Oh my god.
There's got to be like a service for that, like box of assorted flannels every month for the hipster in you.
I'm sure that there's some company in Seattle that will send you a flannel a month.
That sounds pretty awesome.
I'm just going to type in PacificNorthwestLumberjack.com and see what I get. Oh, this site can't be reached. Okay. Well, we'll look for it later.
Oh, I thought I found one. Maybe not. Oh, here we go. Woolly Flannels Club, 6 months. You can buy. I think they send you one every month.
Oh shit.
Oh no, wait, nope. This is a Jesus thing.
Even better. Are you kidding me?
So to all of our listeners, we have a PayPal. If you want to help fund us, give this guy a lifetime supply of flannels.
Please.
That would be excellent.
I'm trying to make him as Pacific Northwest as possible. I got the beard down. I got him hiking. I just need him to get a Subaru and a flannel.
You got him to get a Subaru. I love that. You got him to go hiking.
Oh yeah, he'll go hiking with me sometimes. If not in the summer, but we'll go like if it's kind of cloudy or rainy, we'll go out. He'll go with me.
Does he have a Patagonia windbreaker yet?
I think he's got a North Face. Actually.
Okay, close enough. Okay.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah. What's he driving nowadays? He doesn't have a Subaru. What's he got?
Did you ever see that red Ford he had? The little Ford, I don't know what it is. The little one, the little race car. I think he had it. Yeah, he's still driving that. It barely runs, but he's still driving it.
Yeah, he smoked a deer with that. Not a deer. He smoked something with it down in Texas. I remember that.
I think it was a dog. I think I remember that story.
Oh, that's sad. I don't want to talk about that then. We have a special spot in our hearts for dogs here at the Life Midwest podcast.
Of course.
So here's what I'm going to do, folks. So this is for the rest of the month of February, because this episode will be premiering in February. For the rest of the month from when this episode airs, any donations made to the Life Midwest will explicitly go to purchasing flannels for Mr. Lenny Wells. Whether that be just Wes and I go into Walmart or whatever, we'll find a way to spend the money and get this guy some flannels. And hey, maybe we'll make a blog post about it too if you really care. Oh, a YouTube video, that'd be fun too.
Yeah, I'll force him to wear them. I'll have him model them for you.
That'd be great. And
you can make a calendar out of it too.
Ooh.
Yes.
Now we got some real merch ideas cooking.
Flannel of the month.
We could cut the sleeves off for the summer months too. That'll be fun.
Use the jagged art scissors too, so it's like super scruffy on the edges. I love it.
Yes. I love it. I would buy that calendar.
So your first memory was one of your stuffed animals getting murdered. Tell me how you think that's shaped you into the adult that you are today.
I don't know. I don't know. I just think that like having brothers just makes you tough, but also I guess just enough trauma that you're kind of funny, which has been helpful for me. So I don't know. As
far as like growing up after that, like would you say like was it did you guys feel compressed at all, or was it like a bigger house that you guys were in, or?
Oh no, we lived in a 3-bedroom house with 1 bathroom. We had 1 TV. Of course, it was like the 90s, so everybody only had 1 TV, but we had 1 TV. So I missed out on like all the childhood cartoons because I was the bottom of the totem pole. I'm the youngest, so like I never got to watch TV. So like I didn't watch any cartoons growing up pretty much until they all moved out. Except for Pokemon. I think that's the only cartoon I actually watched. And then like I spent most of my childhood outside by myself. So playing in the mud.
Playing in the mud.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was hard. We all shared rooms. We got real creative in the house, and we like made rooms. Like we furnished a garage, and then we furnished another garage, and we turned like our dining room area into a bedroom for a while, and then yeah, we just got real creative because there was a lot of us in a tiny little spot, but it worked. None of us hate each other, so that's good.
And you guys are all still pretty close?
Kind of. Like the youngest of the three cousins that moved in, him and us are still kind of close. And then like obviously my actual brother, he's only 2.5 years older than me, so I see him all the time. But and he lives here. My other siblings live out of state. They live in Massachusetts.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's quite a difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where they're from, and then like they came out here when their parents died, and then when they turned 18 they all moved back.
So what age were you at when they moved back, and do you feel like that was that like a moment of like, yes, I have a little bit more freedom now to like do what I want, or no?
Well, the youngest one's 8 years older than me, so I guess I was about 10 or 11 when he moved back. The oldest was 16 when she came out here, so she wasn't here for very long. And then the middle one, he was only here, I can't remember how old. I think he's like 10 years older than me, so he left when I was about 8. But he like kind of dropped off the face of the earth, so I haven't talked to him since my grandma died in like high school. But yeah, when I went back to Massachusetts actually a couple of years ago before I met Lenny, and I went and stayed with the youngest one and his kids and his wife, and it was great. Like it was fun catching up with them and seeing them, and we send Christmas cards and occasional Facebook comments, but like I don't like call and chat or anything. So I don't know. When they moved out, it was kind of nice because we all had our own space again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know.
For those who don't know, because you actually brought up a good point as far as, and I know the story, and you probably feel like a broken record at this point, but I'm going to make you do it anyways. For those who don't know, how did you and Lenny meet?
Well, actually, I'm really glad you asked that because I would like to correct the record on what he said. So we met in a bar. We like casually met in a bar. I don't remember this. He met me in a bar. I don't remember meeting him. And then I met him again in another bar. And then I met him for a third time in a bar. And then he was like kind of like dating, like seeing a girl that I was friends with. That's essentially how we met. And he made it seem like it was all me, like I was the one that was like pursuing him. But that's not how that happened. When I met him, I was like, I'm done with men. I'm going to be single forever. You know, the thing most girls do in their late 20s. And then I started hanging out with him. And then, yeah, I mean, the story of how we started dating is true, but like him implying that it was all me is not true. So.
And you're totally right, though, too. You get to a point in your life where you're like, fuck it, I'm done.
Yep.
I'm just done. And the universe is like, the fuck you are.
Yeah. Here's when you're going to marry. And then we got married real fast. So.
I'm really bad in these interview type things because realistically, you only need one interviewer. And then I get lost in the story. And like, if I had something to ask, I've already forgotten it because I'm listening. I'm about as good as a couple of witty one-liners here and there during these types of episodes, but so far it all sounds really cool. I'm glad to hear different perspectives and kind of apply what I've experienced towards them and speculate on how humans exist in general and how like what a normal life is here in the US, what growing up is like, and you know, even beyond how we form.
That was deep.
Yeah, that was lovely.
Yeah, no, that was poetic, actually.
Here, let me provide the world with just something a little bit more poetic. I know I have it in me.
Okay. All right.
When I had my headphones down earlier, and you made that noise, and I thought a baby was crying in the headphones, and I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, because I don't have any kids yet, and Wes, I'd have a lot of questions with you. He's still in Thailand. If talk to me about childhood a little bit, as far as like, you know, growing up and in grade school, junior high, high school. You know, kind of take me through that timeline as far as, you know, be as thorough as you want, be as, you know, kind of skip on the surface if you want, whatever you want.
Okay, well, I went to a private Catholic school from kindergarten until third grade, and that's where I learned all my cuss words. And then I was homeschooled from third grade until sixth grade. And then the year after Columbine, we decided I was going to go back to public school, which was terrifying. And so I went to junior high school, which is seventh through ninth grade here, and then graduated high school in 2006 because I'm old.
So you were homeschooled though from third to sixth grade. Is there a specific reason why they pulled you out of Catholic school?
We were just having problems with bullying and stuff, and I was kind of a feisty little kid, and I used to get into some fights, but I was a lot tougher than in my head than I was in real life. Still am, but I got a big mouth, I guess is the best way to say that. So, my brother was having issues too, so we got pulled out, and my mom my parents decided that homeschooling would be best for us, which was cool, I guess. It was just lonely, so.
And then your parents decide that within 1 year of Columbine, one of the most tragic things to happen in a school, in modern history, I would argue.
Yeah.
I mean, talk to me about what you were feeling, what you were thinking heading back in there that first day. Like, what does that feel like?
Well, I was honestly just excited because I was so like lonely. I just wanted friends. And so I was so desperate to make friends. I didn't care. Like, it didn't bother me at all. I think looking back now, it's kind of crazy. Like, I don't think I would have let my kids go back to school the way that my parents did at that time. I think I would have been a little more like scared to do it. But I was so excited to make friends. And so I was like, don't care. I'm going back to school, going to make some friends. And that's all I cared about. Because there wasn't a lot of kids in my neighborhood. We lived on a dead end street, and there was like one other family with kids around my age. So I wanted friends so bad that I was like willing to like just talk to anybody and be social with anybody. My brother didn't have any problems either. He made a lot of good friends too. So I don't know, like maybe some kids have that problem. I mean, granted, we did go to school until I was in like third grade too. So that definitely helped. I've been around kids before.
But I just want to kind of pry a little bit more at what you said about like you were just excited to have friends, or you're just excited to like talk to people again. Like, was there? It sounds like there was this period where like you didn't have a lot of friends. You didn't have a lot of like social interaction with kids your age.
Yeah. So we went to the YMCA. Used to have this program where you could go like, I think it was twice a week, and do like gym. It was for homeschool kids, and you could do like gym at the YMCA with a bunch of other kids.
Oh, okay.
So we did that. So I did get some social outlet, and then also I did like a Catholic school kind of thing to get like my first. Well, I guess that was before. So never mind, scratch that. That was before I was homeschooled to get my first communion and stuff. But so I was around other kids, just not as often as I'd like. And I didn't really have any like good friends. Like I didn't have anybody that I could hang out with during the day or like talk to on the phone. And I was just super ready to go back and do that. I wasn't really excited to homeschool in the first place though. So.
And see, for me, and maybe it's just I've evolved into this person that just hates people and like the outside society. But I love that I'm going to, for those who aren't familiar, I am going back to school currently through DeVry University online. And I love that it's online, which is like thoroughly minimizes my interactions with the outside world.
No, I'm like that now too. Like, I don't want to talk to anybody I don't know. I don't want to make new friends. It's so strange.
Yeah, it's like I'm good with what I've got. I don't need more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about high school. You mentioned that in Catholic school there was like there was some friction, some things like not going super well socially. Like, did you have those problems in high school, like going back to school?
No, I think I did pretty fine in high school. Like, I wasn't like popular or anything, but like I had a lot of friends and I got along with pretty much everyone. I never really I didn't get in any fights. It's pretty normal, fun time. I think I don't really have that exciting of a high school experience. I think mine was pretty textbook, we weren't like, I think the unique thing about my high school is it wasn't really cliquey. Like we had like popular kids and unpopular kids, but like it wasn't like they weren't mean to each other. They were just people who hung out with each other, you know? And so everybody was pretty chill. We were kind of like artsy. Like everybody in this town sent their like artistic students to my high school. So that was nice. And we had like a lot of like we had football players who were in choir and band and stuff like that. So it wasn't like cliquey or mean or I don't know. It was just a regular normal high school experience. Nothing exciting.
It's interesting that you say that it wasn't super clicky. Do you feel, and I ask this with the fact in mind that your eldest child is approaching that age. Do you feel like that's a Pacific Northwest thing, that it's not very clicky, or just you just kind of happened to, that was like the school that you were in at the time with that generation?
I think it was just the school, because like the other high schools had the problems that my high school didn't have, like the stereotypical high school problems, like the mean kids and the bullies and the popular kids and that kind of stuff. But like, um, I don't know. Maybe it's a like Pacific Northwest thing. Our schools are really diverse too. So like we have a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds that go to our schools, especially as like the town we live in grows more and more. There's a lot of like military families who live out here too. So like we get new kids all the time. I think that definitely helps. People are pretty chill too. I don't know. I don't know if it's just us or not.
I feel like it's hard to get a Pacific Northwesterner angry.
Yeah, we have to sit in traffic a lot, so we're pretty mellow, or else we'd all die every single day. Just heart attacks left and right.
That was one thing that Lenny told me shortly after he moved there. And it's something that he said he still struggles with, like even recently. And I think he made a TikTok about it too. But as far as like how patient or how like nice people are behind the wheel on the West Coast.
Yeah, he gets so mad.
And it just seems like such a weird thing to get mad at, but I mean
yeah, I don't know. It's funny. It's so funny because when we went back to Ohio that time we saw you guys, we Lenny's stepdad picked us up from the airport in Detroit, and he was driving us back to their house, and he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, guys, we're gonna hit a little bit of traffic here," and there was like maybe 10 cars, and I was like, "Are you high? Like this is normal. What are you talking about traffic? Like even at midnight, this is what our roads look like."
There's not a lot of tolerance in the Midwest for really anything. Like I feel like people tend to be very impatient. The road rage here is incredible. I had a guy who cut in front of somebody else. Like they cut somebody else off, and I gave them a weird look, like, "What is your problem?" And the dude just flipped me off, like he knew. Like I had nothing to do with the interaction.
But you got flipped off anyway. That's hilarious.
But I got flipped off because I witnessed him being a dick, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, people will stop here on like a really busy street and let someone out of a parking lot, and it drives Lenny absolutely insane. There'll be like no cars behind them, and they'll stop and let someone out of a parking lot, and he's like, "Why are they stopping?" Like, because they're nice. I'm sorry.
I need to move myself out to the Pacific Northwest. That sounds delightful. I'm a very active and like aggressive driver, but I'm also like I'm the person who will stop for people to come out on a busy road and piss a bunch of people off just because I'm like, they're going to be stuck there for the next 5 minutes. Come on, guys.
You would fit in perfectly here. People are aggressive, but they're so nice when they're being aggressive.
Drives 85 into 70, stops in the middle of a roundabout to let somebody into the roundabout.
Exactly. I mean, it's not Boston aggressive, but it's pretty aggressive.
I can speak to the Boston aggressive a little bit, okay? And it's just kind of how we are. It's just the way we roll. You just have to be assertive when you're driving. You have to tell other people where you're going, and you just don't give them a chance to tell you otherwise. That's all.
Yeah, I drove through Boston one time. It was freaking terrifying. I was so scared. People were like pissed off at me for just existing there. And I was like, "I'm sorry, I'm driving on your streets." Like, oh, they were so aggressive, and like they won't let you over. Like, doesn't matter if you have your turn signal on or not. You're not getting over. It's crazy. It was scary.
Yeah.
That was the only time I've ever been scared to drive. Was in Boston.
It's nuts. I can't defend it as a New England native. There's nothing to defend there. It's just that's just the way it is, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
So before we go to the break, is there anything else that you want to cover from your childhood? Any major events, any major happenings, moves, stuff like that?
No, I've pretty much lived in the same house my whole life, and Lenny and I just moved back into it because my dad passed away, so we moved in with my mom.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was about a year ago. So we moved in back into this house, I think October time, about October. Um, so yeah, I mean, I've pretty much lived here my my literal whole life. So we did stay when my grandpa was dying. I was probably about 8 or 9, and he lived in Massachusetts too. So we were back there for a good chunk of time, I think. And then when my aunt and uncle died, we were too. But I was really young, so I don't remember that. But I think we were there for like almost a year. So I kind of claimed that I lived in Massachusetts for a while, but I mean, not very long. So pretty much same house, same town, my whole life.
Where does that split come from of, some of the family being in Washington and some of the family being in Massachusetts?
Well, I actually have no family in Washington except for my brother and my mom. My mom was from West Groton, Massachusetts, and my dad was from Atlanta, and he was in the military and at the Navy, and he met my mom in Massachusetts when he was stationed there, and then they got married and went to Germany and moved to Florida, and then moved back to Massachusetts. And then when my mom was pregnant with me, they had a or a business opportunity out here. So they moved out here with some friends and started a business. And that's why I'm here. I was very close to not being born here, but my mom moved out here when she was 8 months pregnant with me. And yeah, so I'm the only one besides my kids born here.
So a lot of Massachusetts in the history there is what I hear. And see, this is why Massachusetts is the best. I understand the Boston driving might be a little rough, but it's just Massachusetts will always have my heart. I will always call it home. It'll always be home to me.
There's no coffee there, though.
What's that?
You guys don't have coffee there.
You have Dunkin'.
You got Dunkin' Donuts. That's not coffee. Come on.
Dunkin' Donuts isn't
Shots
coffee.
fired.
Okay,
Shots
all right.
fired.
Yeah. We're finna fight here.
Do you have Dunkin' in Ohio? I thought you guys had Tim Hortons.
We have
got
Timmy
both
Ho's.
of 'em.
Yeah, we're in the epicenter now, where we used to just have one Dunkin', and now all of a sudden in the last 5 years they're like Subways. They're just popping up all over the place.
Yeah, we don't have Dunkins here at all. We have Krispy Kreme though.
Oh, we just got our first Krispy Kreme right before the pandemic, I think it was. That's just the only one we have, right, Wes? Is the Krispy Kreme on Secor?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So
also, weren't you talking about McDonald's having bagels?
Yes, at one point McDonald's used to have it was a part of their breakfast menu. They used to have they had like a ham and cheese bagel and a steak and egg bagel, I want to say.
Oh my god. We didn't have that here. When I listened to that episode, I was so angry. I was like, "What? Why don't we have bagels?" You should have
seen the level of anger when McDonald's took it away from Midwesterners.
That's so rude. We didn't even get it.
It was bad. I specifically remember, and maybe this was from my time when I was living in Vegas, so like Southwest US. They used to have like a Southwestern style type of breakfast burrito that was just incredible. But yeah, I feel like you get like different things from McDonald's in different parts of the country, which is totally unfair because I'm in the Midwest. Does that mean I don't like spicy Southwest food?
Yeah, or like I would like some bagels. I love bagels.
I also enjoy bagels, but I've never liked the ones from McDonald's. I don't.
Oh, they were good.
Were rubbery almost. We're gonna get like a cease and desist from McDonald's. They were like rubbery though. The highlight of the bagel was the hollandaise sauce. Like if you could get that on other stuff, it was it was great, very tasty.
Oh, they had hollandaise sauce.
They did
on the bagels. Man, I'm so jealous.
McDonald's sending in their cease and desist letter, just like, yeah, don't talk shit about products we don't sell anymore.
Yeah, what if we want to bring it back like the rib?
I bet you I could find a recipe though and send it to you. I'm going to try to find one and send it to you and see if you can recreate it. Because I bet you if you use better bagels, and I guarantee that's not hard to find.
Get a soft
yeah, it would be incredible. Yeah. Wait, do you guys have Aldi's out there?
No, I don't know what that is.
Okay, Aldi. It's like a German grocery store, but they're here in the U.S. all over. Okay.
Hey, Kevin.
Yeah, you probably. I know Wes. I know Wes thought I was making a D's nuts joke, but I wasn't. To shop at all D's nuts. No, they have like these brioche bagels that I'm addicted to, which is why I asked.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I don't even think there's one even. Hold on, let me see if I can find one close to me. Maybe it's not that far.
I gotta say, Wes, Brittany fits right into the show because she Googles stuff like right on air, and I love that.
So the closest one is in California. It's only 725 miles away.
Well, since you've never been to California, you can kill two birds with one stone.
Like
yeah,
let's go.
that's a lot for some fucking bagels, but you know.
Let's see how long. It's going to take me 13 hours and 17 minutes to get there.
You better start walking, buddy.
Definitely worth it.
All right. Well, Brittany's going to start her trek to California. We're going to take a quick break. Coming back, we're going to talk about that part of life where you just kind of you get to it and you're like, oh, that's it. We're going to see if that was the case for Brittany. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to the Life Midwest podcast. On the other side of the break on this fine Saturday morning or afternoon or evening. I don't care if you're jet lagged. I'm just happy you're here. I'm Kevin Palmer, joined by Wes Shirley and special guest Brittaney Wells on the latest and first My Friend series episode, season 2, exclamation point, as Wes would say. If you're looking for ways to support us, we do have a PayPal that is live, paypal.me/thelifemidwest. You can also support us for free in various amount of ways. Reach out to us at our socials at The Life Midwest on all major social platforms. You can also leave us a review. Wes, did you know that we have 8 5-star reviews now on iTunes?
We have 8?
We have 8.
That's fantastic. I thought we had like 5 last time I looked.
8 people liked us enough. Oh, yeah, it was 5. So we took 2 months off and we got 3 5-star ratings.
Nice. We should take more.
Yeah, we should take more time off. Yeah, if you feel like being one of those folks who just, bring your right or left thumb over on your favorite listening app or ever listen to us, leave us a review or a rating. We greatly appreciate that. You can also email us at support@thelifemidwest.com. Brittany, how you doing? Having fun talking about, yourself, which most people actually hate doing, but how are you?
I'm fine. I don't really like talking about myself either, but, it is what it is.
Don't feel forced.
I was going to say, I was like, damn.
I mean, it's fine. My life isn't that interesting. I just feel like I don't know. I wish I had more to give you guys. I didn't like survive anything cool or like save anybody's life or anything. So,
Brittany, you survived 9/11. You survived the pandemic.
I mean, I was on the opposite side of the country on 9/11. I didn't really survive 9/11. I just experienced it.
We, as a country, made it through 9/11.
Okay, that's fair.
All right. I'm curious a little bit. I want to talk about this. Would you say, before we get into your 20s, would you say that you were raised in a conservative household?
Oh, yes. Very conservative household.
Okay. And do you consider yourself conservative presently?
Not even a little bit.
So you and I are very, very similar in that aspect, actually. In the aspect, well, and what I mean by that is that growing up, I was raised that way, and I have had a lot of cognitive dissonance over the last 3 or 4 years. Just with the way the pandemic's happened, 2016 through now, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
talk to me about that transition and what that felt like for you, because for me it was very, very uncomfortable.
I think it was just a slow progress. I think I knew I was gonna end up well, I mean, I didn't know. I think the universe knew that I was going to end up, essentially just Antifa. But that's a joke. I'm not Antifa. But I mean, I think they just essentially knew. I I think it just started. I was very conservative growing up because that's all I knew, and we watched Fox News at home, and that's all I knew. So as I got older and more life experience, things changed, and my opinions on things changed. And I think the internet changes a lot of minds too, because you see so many people from so many different backgrounds that you wouldn't usually experience, especially like if you live in a town like the one I grew up in, which wasn't tiny, but it's not, it's not Seattle. So you're not meeting people from like different places and different lifestyles with like different life experiences. We all pretty much grew up the same and thought the same and lived the same here. So I think the internet changes that a lot for our generation, at least. I think that's part of the reason why our generation is so liberal, is because of the internet. um, but yeah, I mean, I think it was just like, and then like meeting Lenny definitely helped too, because he was super atheist, super liberal. And then just that kind of helped change my mind too, seeing a different perspective.
And I think that's something too, like from talking about the internet. And I think a lot of people on one side will argue like, oh, you're just putting yourself in an echo chamber. You're just in a bubble. And I think what it really is that you're seeing other people's experiences are different from your own, and it creates this level of empathy. Not to say that one side or the other doesn't have empathy. Like I'm not looking to come on here like with my thoughts and opinions on that. I try to stay very apolitical, but I know that's one thing that I know about you, Brittany, about your upbringing. And I wanted to talk about that because it's something that I went through very recently, as far as
Yeah.
like a change of heart, through the pandemic and the way the pandemic was handled, and
Yeah.
how certain people feel and believe about the pandemic and would say certain things, and you're just kind of like, whoa,
Yeah.
maybe not, and
Yeah.
it's hard to hear that because I think we're brought up with our parents, and when we're a kid we think our parents are just the greatest and they know everything. And how there's we don't sit there as 6, 7, 8 year olds and go, is my mama actually right about that? Like, no, it's our mom, so we're just like, okay, mom.
Yeah.
And then you get to a certain age and you're like, fuck. And it's just like, I don't know, it's hard. And I feel like you get that. And I just wanted to bring that up.
Well, I think like my parents too, like even though they were very conservative, like they did a really, really good job for my brother and I to just to kind of take information and like figure out like what people are really saying, like because everything you read is biased, everything is. So like, what does it really mean? Like, what are they really reporting about, or what are they really talking about? And then kind of taking both sides of it and weighing, what each person has to say for whatever reason, and then just making your own mind up from there. They did a really good job at having us think for ourselves. And so like I really am trying really hard to get my kids to do that too. The oldest one is a little caught up in this TikTok, kind of like a Tumblr phase kind of thing going on right now. It's like everything has to be politically correct, but I think we're trying to build some nuance onto that, just so that they know that like people on the other side of the argument, I mean, they believe what they believe for a reason, and figuring out why, I think, really helps you have more empathy, and helps you understand where they're coming from, even if they're stupid and wrong and you hate them. Like at least you know why they think that way. So
Right. Right. And I think that's far more educated, that's far more mature, that's far more, insert word here, as to being able to sit down and have a conversation with somebody like that instead of just saying, you're wrong, you stupid head.
but sometimes it feels really nice to just be like, you're wrong, you stupid head.
Sometimes it does.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does. I want to talk a little bit about 20s, because I bring this up every time, or at least the last few episodes I have. But I feel like everyone gets to this point in their 20s where they just kind of, we're such a magical time as a kid where it's just like, oh, pizza on Friday nights, but it's really because our parents are tired, and Walt Disney
Yeah.
World because, vacations, but our parents were probably stressing about the money. And now here we are in our 20s and we're just kind of like, oh, the magical part of our lives is over, question mark.
Yeah.
Any of those feelings or thoughts kind of cross your mind over the last decade?
Well, yeah, but except for mine started a little early because I had a baby at 19. So I didn't really get the full 20s party experience. I mean, I did get to, but not the way that like most people do. Because I was trying to keep another human being alive the whole time. But yeah, I think once I had my oldest, I was just like, oh, this is being an adult is like you don't sleep, you barely have time to eat, you're just spending every day cleaning, and that's fun, I guess. But the magic kind of got ruined a little young for me.
I could imagine that having a child would definitely change the outcome of how one experiences their 20s. I, for one, had no other lives depending on me, so I was able to fully dive in headfirst into my most dangerous and wildest existentialisms.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really get to do that. I pretty much just watched Yo Gabba Gabba and made Cheerios. So,
What is that like to have a child at 19 with conservative parents? And I ask this because I'm not a female.
um, well, my parents at first it took them a little bit to come around, but once they were born, it was all over. They had my parents wrapped around their little finger. It was just could do no wrong, and they still can't do no wrong. I mean, the thing is such a little brat, and my mom just is like, they're the best. So, you know, um, no, it wasn't bad actually. I had really supportive parents. I'm really lucky. A lot of people don't have that, and I know that I have. It's such a privilege to have parents like mine, who they let me live at home. They help me pay for daycare. They help me pay for school so I could get a good job. A lot of people don't have those things, and um, I don't want to get political on your podcast, but it's a blessing. I'm very privileged, and I know that I wouldn't have survived uh, having a kid that young if it wasn't for my parents.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Good for you. So, moving into your 20s, then, as you're raising a child, talk about that a little bit.
Well, I spent the first half of my 20s working nonstop. I pretty much worked. I did like a technical college program. So I did that in the morning until about mid afternoon every single day, and then I worked at. I had a job where how when you go get a drug test and you pee in the cup.
Mm-hmm.
So my job was to take those samples of the urine in the cup and pour them into test tubes for the scientists to do the testing on. I did that until about 2 in the morning. And then I'd go home, get a couple hours sleep, wake up, go to school. I did that for like a year, and then I got a job at a hospital, and I worked my ass off at that hospital. I was there all the time. So I pretty much just worked my early 20s, and then whatever free time I had, if I didn't have my kid with me, I tried to have fun. It was mostly just working.
Was this a one person effort, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, my ex. Yeah, he's around. Take them every weekend for a while, but now I get them. We split weekends in half, and we spend a little more time during the week. So they go to their dad's Wednesday through Saturday, and then they're with me Sunday through Wednesday. So it works out well. We get to spend equal times with each other, and I think it's just really important that despite any negative feelings I may have towards my ex, that my kid knows their dad and stuff. So that's always been really important to me.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I agree. I think it's a fortunate situation to come out of a maybe not fortunate situation. To where you still have like those positive aspects to look at. I think that's really great. That's really important. So you were working a lot in your early 20s. What kind of got you out of that cycle as far as like did you start working less then, it sounds like, or?
Yeah, I went through like a little bout of unemployment, which was great. I quit my job at the hospital. I was like, I'm gonna go to pastry school. So I quit my job at the hospital, started pastry school. I did like maybe a quarter. No, I think I was only there for like a month. My dad had a heart attack, so I quit going to school and I started working at the company that he owned to help out there. And so I worked there for about a year. And this is when Lenny and I started dating. So I was unemployed when we first started dating, and then I started working at my parents' company, and I worked there for about a year, and then I got laid off and got pregnant with Ronan. This was after we were married, so I didn't have 2 kids out of wedlock, only one. And then I was kind of a stay-at-home mom for a hot minute, maybe about a year, and then I went back to work. So that's kind of my work history there.
And for the audience, because I've never asked Lenny, what does Lenny do?
Lenny does I totally can't think of what it's called. I keep thinking restoration, but that's not it. It's so like when something floods or your house burns down or something like that, you have a crew come in and they assess the damage, and then they do like demolition and get all the damaged parts of your house out of that. That's what Lenny does. He does demolition.
My God, that's the most Leonard thing I think I've
ever. But he actually just got promoted, so that's exciting. So he's making more money, and he's doing like a less physical job, which is important to him. And he'll be home hopefully normal hours now, because he used to get home at like 7, 8 o'clock at night. So
yikes. And I'm guessing he's probably getting out the door pretty early too on that same token.
Yep. He's out at 6:30 every morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I remember bouts like that when I was with Dollar Tree, because your salary, and so when your salary, they can just work you to the bone. And a lot of 10, 11, 12-hour days, especially if corporate was coming to town. So I feel that.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. Wes, what else? You got anything else for Brittaney?
Not particularly. I had a lot of fun listening. Your stories, well, you don't think they're anything special by the sound of your voice as well as what you said, but like there was a lot of well articulated things within there that like really caught my attention. I'm like, yeah, I agree with this, and you add value to I guess just the general social sphere by expressing how you feel from your unique perspective. So I appreciate that you came on and talked, and your life is a bit more interesting to people than you might think.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for lying to me. I'm just kidding.
I do want to echo that though, because I feel like a lot of people don't think they're interesting, or that they don't have like that interesting of a story. And then you kind of lay it out, and sometimes it happens. It goes one of two ways, especially when they come on to our show. I feel like it goes one of two ways, and some people are, you know what? I have done a couple of things actually. That's pretty cool, And for other people, I think it's, it ends up being a little therapeutic for them to be able to talk about their upbringing and kind of where that came from and how they got to where they are now. And it's just really interesting to see. Sometimes that goes one way, sometimes it goes both ways. Sometimes it goes neither way. It just kind of depends, So, but I greatly appreciate you having on. It sounds like Wes does, with how much he's quote unquote lying to you. I don't know that he's lying to you though. So, it's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. Brittaney, I'm gonna give you the floor here. You get to shout out anybody in the whole wide world you want.
Oh, I don't know. I guess shout out to my husband, I guess, for leaving me with these kids and going to Alaska and sleeping without being woken up all night. I hope you're having a great time. Hope you're having fun sleeping through the night, you butthole.
I don't hear any resentment in that.
Well, my son, he's right here. Do you want to say hi? Do you want to say bye? Okay, hold on. He's going to say bye. Say bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Wes, who you want to shout out, bud?
I want to give a big hearty shout out to, but then also,
Jesus Christ,
big shout out to our special guest, Brittaney, for coming on. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course.
I would like to shout out to the Anti-Dinosaur Abuse Foundation. Stuffed dinosaurs have feelings too. And I would like to shout out to Kevin for giving me a laugh there.
You're so fucking dumb.
Thank you.
All right, I want to shout out moms because moms work their ass off. Moms are superheroes, and Brittaney is a really fine example of that. So that Brittaney is a stark example as to why we say every week to call your mom. Call your fucking mom.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
Add to your call your mom. If you were ever a teenager, I need you to call your mom right now and apologize to your mother. Just apologize. That's all.
I think I need to do that.
I might have been a teenager once.
She said that and I was like, shit, that's me. All right, folks, we're going to get the hell out of here. Thanks for tuning in this week. We will be back next Saturday and every Saturday here on the Life Midwest podcast. Don't forget to stop by at any of our socials at the Life Midwest. Email us at support@thelifemidwest.com. Leave us a review on your favorite listening app, your favorite podcast listening app. Greatly appreciate the support. And oh yeah, stop by PayPal. Remember, we're gonna get Lenny those flannels. Gotta get him converted.
Yes, flannels.
All right, folks, take care. We will see you later. Deuces.